Yeah, I'm good to start. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Mulana 2. This is the first game I kind of spent a lot of time like routing through myself when it first came out. It was a lot of fun. So I'm just gonna like grab a bit of money and buy some basic things to start. I'm gonna try to talk mostly about like tricks and stuff I use rather than like the mechanics and storyline of the game to avoid spoilers to an extent. Just like, I think playing through this is a really cool experience and everyone should do that.
I agree.
Oh yeah, I guess I didn't introduce myself. I'm Jess, or Tijit. This is Dave the Fade.
What? Somewhere.
So
Is it too quiet?
Is it too? Is my mic too high?
Oh, I don't know. It might be a bit louder or something. I don't know.
So a difference between this game and the original Mulana is that you can just like jump off and onto ladders whenever you like, rather than having to climb all the way up them or damage boost.
Saves a lot on caltrops, I'd imagine.
Yeah, we don't even pick up caltrops. They're not useful, unfortunately. Oh, so that's Buddy Ratatosca. We're going to fight him a few times over the run. He gets progressively more difficult.
Yeah, that's like really easy, and then the next one's you can at the point where you can find it is actually quite difficult. So it can just kill you in a couple of hits.
Eventually, I'm going to start just freezing time and fighting him. Not fighting him at all.
So Tidge is playing on version 1.0, so
yeah.
It was before they fixed
a lot of
bosses being immune to lamp of time, including the rat, I believe. And there's a couple of progression bugs that shouldn't be a problem in this round. That were fixed in later versions, and a few useful glitches that were patched out. So obviously we're playing on this one because the glitches are useful.
It's by far the best, like the only version if you are speedrunning anything but glitchless. So the first major bug is called costume swapping, and I use it all the time throughout the run. And you can use it to clip through certain types of walls and blocks, and also pots, which we use to get out of bounds. And yeah, that just requires going into a menu and switching costume after jumping on the object.
Yeah, there was a way to get the feather early. I think
I dropped my microphone.
There was a way to get the
Okay.
there was a way to get the feather early, and they patched that out, but the costume glitch hadn't really been discovered until the next patch, and then someone found a way to use that to get the feather early again, and then they patched the costume clip out.
So I'm gonna be going for the feather as fast as possible, basically, because it lets us get to areas early that we're not supposed to be able to get to, and also just like it makes movement faster in a bunch of ways. I can cancel the animation on placing the weights down on those pedestals by swinging my weapon before I do it. That just like saves a little bit of time. And that's something else I do just constantly throughout the run. I didn't mention I scanned what's called a grail point earlier, and you use those to like they're basically teleport points. So I'll scan one and then I can teleport back there whenever I like.
And they also let you quick save.
Yeah. So here is a costume clip. There's like a whole series of puzzles to unlock this boss that I'm just gonna like skip all of them basically.
Do they get set as solved when you kill the boss, or are they still
no.
Okay.
In fact, we still go in most of those rooms and solve them later because they're actually requirements. But it's just faster to come straight here. Faster to do it when we have better equipment later.
So a nice thing about the sequel is that when you pop the Ankh jewel, it makes a quick save, so you don't have to run all the way back to the boss when you inevitably die.
Yep. This guy just has 2 possible states in each of his positions, and so like I just kind of know exactly what to do depending on where his head moves to.
Yeah,
it's a pretty straightforward boss.
It's a predictable pattern. And I saw that this was set up on Monday, and I had a little go at the keyboard, and I managed to kill this boss after turning on hard mode without dying. So it's a fairly easy boss. It's just a bit slow because he spends forever walking on and off the screen. And after, I think it's 3 damage, the boss like retracts.
Yep. He does have a faster pattern, but he doesn't enter that until right before he's going to die. Whereas on hard mode, he gets faster earlier. But yeah, definitely not speedrunning on hard mode. That would be some fun with a capital F.
I mean, I did the hard mode, sub-weapon achievement.
Oh my god.
And the best way for doing that was to abuse the weapon fairy.
Yep.
Which I don't know if that's done in this round.
No, we don't touch the weapon fairy, unfortunately.
In the first, well, like in 1.0, the weapon fairy is extremely powerful because it
kills some bosses so fast that the game soft locks because it hasn't started to fight properly.
Yeah, mostly John Wonder, whatever his name is, who we'll see a bit later. And then it was, if you have the weapon fairy like in the room when you pop the Ankh jewel, it'll kill the boss before he's spawned and just soft lock the game. I managed to get him to kill the boss by running really quickly from a couple of rooms away, leaving the fairy behind.
Once again, we're going to scan this just so we can come back later. We have tons of shuriken, so we're going to be like using them to just like damage a pot from a distance away because while we only have the leather whip, breaking pots is quite slow. Okay, well, this is unfolding. This is going really poorly. I don't know what he's doing. Anyway, there's a strat for that where you can kill them both before the first one, like while they're in the same spot, and then you pick up all the gold at once. It's not a big deal that I took a long time in that room as long as I get all the money. Like, money's quite tight in the early game. There's a critical piece of software we need to buy, and also we're going to buy a gun because bullets do a lot more damage than basically any other kind of attack.
Yeah, that's the strategy for a lot of hard mode bosses when you're not doing no sub weapons. Is just use the gun.
Notice I landed on those spikes there purposefully because when you fall a great distance, you kind of land on the ground flat on your face, but if you take damage first, you don't actually kind of lose. So I'm gonna do a cheeky heal for just for safety, because it's kind of a long segment and there's some things that can go wrong in it. Here we have the water physics, which is somehow worse than the water physics in the previous game.
They were pretty bad.
It's like even more mashing involved. Hey, we're getting achievements for some reason, that's cool. Likewise with the pedestals that I put weights on, I can also cancel my weapon throw animation by jumping. So like I can throw a shuriken and then just jump and then we can start moving immediately instead of waiting for the animation to finish. Another thing I kind of do is like hot cell when I break, I will hit them a little bit preemptively. We actually don't want to break this one until we have the pickup there.
So the good thing about the earth spears in this game is that you can control the direction you throw them in. So you can throw them forward or down or up.
So I just picked up an item called the Gale Fibula, which lets us run really, really fast, but you have absolutely zero control over your movement. And you go to a menu to toggle it. So I'm going to costume swap and then use the Gale. And that'll let us safely clip out of bounds. If you just clip into a pot using a costume swap and then walk to the right, you will get crushed to death by the wall. But using the Gale Fibula does not, like it's to do with subpixels or something. There's another setup where you kind of inch over kind of slowly, and that works, which I will show later. But for the most part, we're going to use the Gale.
So that's another interesting item they introduced in this game that has hardly broken the game in many of its post-release patch forms. They've had a lot of trouble getting that item to work correctly. I believe in like it was either the first or second patch where you could just like use it normally and fall through the ground.
Yeah, I think there's something bad about walls on the right-hand side. I think at the end they just stop you from being able to jump, right? When you're galing. No, because
you need it for puzzle. It's intended to be able to do that.
Can't remember. Well, you can't swing weapons or throw sub-weapons anymore when you're galing. This is like a temporary fairy point. We don't activate them properly till later, but this is convenient because there's a boss coming up and we would like to be on full health for it. Okay, well, you can activate that trapdoor without falling through, but I messed up a little bit, which is fine.
So this is one of the so-called backside of the ruins areas, and you need a special You need special software to be able to walk to this place, but thankfully, unlike the original, they let you get it like in this area so that you can make use of it right away.
Yep, I'm going to be buying that in a moment, and then walking to the surface and buying a pistol. Our target is like 300 coins, and we'll have that very soon. And, you know, just doing like miscellaneous puzzles and stuff as I go.
Just unlocking the boss jaw.
Yep. Another useful thing costume swapping can do is that when you're in a crawl space, you can just stand up and then walk normally.
So you might recognize that duck, if you've played DuckTales before.
Yeah, a lot of the shopkeepers are like references to other video games. Carrot Blaster is in there somewhere, but we don't see him in this run, unfortunately.
Do you see, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, bad box art. I'm gonna...
This guy actually drops money that's invisible, so you have to be standing in the right spot or it just disappears. Yeah, it was weird. For a while we were working out why we had more money at the start of the run than other times. Can also clip off stairs with costume swapping.
I didn't know you could do the crawling stuff or the stair stuff with it. I only used it to get the feather alley and then I didn't bother with it.
So this guy, we're going to shoot one of our bullets on him. We don't want to use all of our bullets. We're going to save some for later. And then finish him off with spears.
Very nice squid kill there.
You can technically use 2 bullets there and then less spears and then less bullets later, but I don't know, haven't really timed everything.
Probably better saving your bullets for the harder bosses, or I'm not sure where you use them.
There's a couple in Kachata and a couple in the mini boss in Yggdrasil.
Yeah,
So,
I figured the dragon would be...
I've got my notes, so I should look at them when I get stuck.
It's the big fence.
Yep. So now we have basically all the requirements to get double jump in the glitch category, so we're going to get that right now.
Good to know you don't actually have to absorb the dissonance before you can do that. I thought you did.
Yep. There's a mechanic called dissonance that we are going to completely ignore because we're going to glitch our way past it.
All right. So that was the corridor of blood, which you can... There's like 6 places it can lead to, and when you use the item to spin the room, it basically it goes from where you are into one of the other fireplaces. And so this is the normally you're meant to kill the boss in that room in order to fall down into it. And that, I believe, requires you to kill...
Yomaganda.
Yeah.
Or however pronounce his name, I'm not actually certain.
Yomaganda. The serpent that wraps around the world or whatever. which when I was playing for the first time, took me forever to find out how to get to it.
Ask me what I have.
What was that?
Never mind. I was going to say a knife.
I know it.
Yeah.
Get the knife.
This is one of the puzzles for unlocking the first boss, by the way. The knife has a terrible animation, but it does more damage than the whip. So luckily that's the spot we can stand and kill this guy.
Nice. He only spawns after the first boss is there?
No, you're meant to kill that version before the boss.
Oh, okay, because I always skip doing that. Here's the big money pot in the wall.
Yep. Yeah, we need a lot of money in this run, so I'm just going to be collecting gold the entire time.
So you've got to buy the...
I mean, first we got to buy an item that increases how much money we can handle from 999 to 2,000, I think. And then we have to get up to, like, we got to buy an item that's 1,000 gold. So, you know, usually you can't hold that much at the start.
So I'm guessing you're also skipping the boots. Yeah, you're skipping the boots to get the... Do you use the costume clip to get the fortune charm thing? Because normally you're intended to get the non-slip boots from Mulbrook.
We can do that with either the Gale Fibula or a grapple boost, which I'm going to describe soon.
I was talking to someone on the Discord and they mentioned how they I think they'd locked themselves out of getting the boots, and they were like, "I've got all this stuff, but I can't." Like I was trying to get the Gale Fibula to work. Well, anyway, it didn't work for me. But they had the time stop, so they could just stop the time. So there was a mini boss you're not supposed to fight the first time you can, but it is intended that if you're good enough, you can kill the boss and get the treasures from the boat beyond. So obviously he's taking a safety save after killing it because this area can kill you very quickly.
This is a pretty dangerous segment overall, so I did a safety save for the marathon. So here we're going to get the grapple claw, and combined with the double jump lets us clear distance very fast. And also lets us do some sequence breaks because you can jump over areas you're not supposed to be able to jump over. I'm going to take this bit very slowly by just killing all of these guys, because if I fall in this lava, I will die.
Yeah, that's the poison lava that probably will kill in about half a second to a second. And combined with the water physics, it makes it very difficult to get out if you fall in.
Okay. Nothing now. This is a surprisingly dangerous room to do as fast as possible, because these bats can just do whatever they like and knock you away and stop you from being able to do it. I'm just gonna, So the grapple boost involves grappling a wall and then doing a neutral double jump by taking your hands off the movement buttons. Don't think you're even supposed to be able to double jump after grappling, but I don't know, I guess it was just a bug they left in.
Yeah, I know that if you if you try and double jump out of the boost off the wall with the gravel ball, and you're holding a direction, you just do you lose all your speed and just do a regular jump in that direction. But I think you can skip the ferry with that, right?
Ferry?
In the underworld? Or do you have to
No,
pay?
you can't skip the ferry.
Or maybe it was really, really close to skip it, but not quite.
Well, you need the ferry for the bombs. So.
No, paying the ferry, the River Styx.
You mean Karen?
Yeah, Charon.
Yeah. You can do that, but then you have to do a bunch of other stuff that turns out to be slower.
Right.
So,
So there's a point in the game where you need exactly the right amount of money.
yeah, which is much later.
But thankfully there's someone who can kindly take all your money off your hands if you need it.
What? Okay.
Interesting.
I hadn't seen that before. So I'm going to grab a health orb here, which will increase my max health. I didn't really talk about it when I got to my first one, but it's pretty straightforward. It gives you full health. It's just a convenient time to grab it because, well, aside from the fact we need items here, the next segment is kind of dangerous, so we want to have as much health as possible.
Yeah, if you're on low health, I think it's plus 32 hit points or something. And I know that talking to the dwarves after you get them to give you the boat, which was they go, oh, all right, go to the boat and you can get it. That lets you, I think that's the katana, right? Oh, no, it's the anchor, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there's 5 main weapons you can get in this game. There were 5 in the original one, and most of them make a comeback, except for the key sword, which has been replaced by the little stabby sword. I don't know if you get that.
Rapier, no,
Yeah,
you didn't get that.
because it's not that good. And then I know that in later versions they patched the katana so that you need double jump to get it. But thankfully that issue won't come up, and I assume you get the katana because it's the best weapon.
Yeah, katana is basically the new axe. This is one of the few pots in the game where you can use a costume clip without it killing you against the right wall without doing something special. I'm just kind of using the grapple boost all the time. It's very, very useful. I've been scanning these things on walls. It's just like a collection thing. And later on, I will use those to chant what's called mantras, and you just have to chant the right things in the right places. And there's a lot of just quick menuing involved.
Yeah, it's a big puzzle element of this game. Because they had a similar thing in the original, but it was just for the end of the game. But the thing that gets
this guy. Oh, no, got
grabbed
hit by
by
him anyway.
So they had a lot of puzzles, but I think the big issue was you get access to the start of the puzzle really early when it's not useful. And so casually people spend a lot of time trying to solve a puzzle they can't.
Yep.
But thankfully in this one they made it early, and then they made it essential. So there's a
really big sequence break.
A huge sequence break to the lamp of stopping time.
You don't actually even need it for a while, but it's the most convenient place to pick it up. Convenient times to pick it up.
So there's another thing that double jump lets you get it a little early, that
I'm
tablet.
just gonna enter this room because it does a bit of a trigger for later. I have the option of getting an extra health pickup in a moment, but I usually say to myself, if I've got more than 64 health, I won't bother. So I think I'll just ignore it. And if I make a lot of errors, I'll heal on the surface instead.
So this is a cool area with the nice gravity flip gimmick going for it. But yeah, I think they removed the platform. No, they put a block between the platform with the door and the one above it, so that you can't just jump up there and you have to jump right to the top or something. I'm not sure. I think you have to like, they did something so you can't get that without double jump. Now you have the best weapon in the game.
Yeah, katana.
The friendship ended with axe. Now katana is my best friend. But yeah, in the original, the axe was a really, really useful weapon because it had a lot of range. It was a bit slow, but it did a heap of damage. And the axe in this game you get really late, and it's really slow, and it's got a lot less range, and it's just not really useful except for when you need to kill something that's on a platform above you.
Missed a cycle in this room, so that enemy was blocking me. Bit of a dialogue trigger there. There's a few of those. It's another thing that took people like a fairly long while to work out exactly which order everything needs to be done in.
Yeah, because you need to visit certain the NPCs have their little doors in the rooms, and you need to visit certain ones in a certain order.
This puzzle is completely broken. You can put the weight on the wrong pedestal and walk away from the death trap. It is not that easy on the current patch.
Normally you're meant to figure out which one you're supposed to put the weight on, and then you just put the weight on and crouch while the flame hits everything else. So we have more gravity flicking to get this block in the right spot.
It's pretty frustrating that an item that just makes you sink faster in water is a requirement for this run.
It was interesting in the first game because if you know what you're doing, the anchor is kind of bad. Because there's a point where you need to quickly go up the water, and it's extremely difficult with the anchor. But they fixed it in this game by making you able to unequip items that you've picked up. So obviously if that wasn't the case, then you would never be able to do anything once you picked up the KO fibula. So it's like a very nice quality of life improvement. It's useful for like 3 or 4 of the items, depending on what you're doing.
Another thing I've been collecting throughout the run of these crystal skulls. There's just like 12 of them, and I don't know, just have to have all of them by the end.
Yeah, requirement.
Too much to talk about there.
One of the puzzles, as is everything you're picking up for the puzzles you need to do to finish the game.
activating the next boss. So this boss is a little bit slow. It's mostly kind of cutscenes, like waiting for the next bit to happen.
Another interesting thing about this boss is they thought it was too easy in this patch because it's pretty easy, especially if you have the katana. So they made it harder, except they made it really hard in one of the patches, and like suddenly everyone's like, yeah, I can't get past this boss anymore. And I think they had to make it a little bit easier after that. So it has a bunch of eyes on them, as you can see, and you have to like kill all of the eyes. And you get like, there's that one at the start.
Yeah, we're going to use 2 more of our pistol bullets here. So like we're going to try and shoot two at a time in the second phase. And the last phase, we just want to be over as fast as possible. So we're going to shoot it as soon as it's open, because third phase is like very erratic.
For some reason, they have the boss like smash your ship after you kill the first eye, like it is some kind of mechanic maybe, but then it does nothing. So it's just like, I don't know, I don't quite understand why they decided to have it do that, because it doesn't do it after any of the other eyes, right?
No. It's just like a, rah, I'm angry and I'm a giant cow. So these meteors are pretty random, and like how they appear kind of determines how quickly you can do this fight, because this eye is so close to the top of the screen that sometimes you just get overwhelmed with stuff. Sometimes you just get it in one double jump, and sometimes you get hit. And for the last phase, you want to try and kill any of these kind of cannon things that appear to the left, because they can get in the way.
They can shoot you off the boat, and it's like instant death.
Yeah, if you fall off, you die instantly. Yeah, that's Kujata. Yeah. And that lets us chant mantras.
Oh, yes, you get the pillar.
Yep.
So now there's a whole bunch of mantra puzzles scattered throughout the game.
A whole bunch of stuff has opened up to us now.
Mute. Oh yes, this puzzle that.
Hold in quotes.
That's the intended way to finish the puzzle, I believe. Because you can't use time stop.
This isn't right. I've gone to the wrong place. It's probably going to happen a lot. I'm going to teleport to the wrong place.
So it's interesting seeing people tackle that rock puzzle in casual playthroughs. Because they're like, oh, the rock's falling, maybe I have to use time stop on it, and then that doesn't work. So there was a while where I wasn't sure what the actual intended way to solve it, but I'm pretty sure it is just rush it through with the knife. So there's this little dinosaur statue that took me way longer than I should have to figure out what to do with. Like on the wall, so you can open that chest. Hardest puzzle in the game right now. So this is where the anchor was required to get through the water. Otherwise you just get pushed out.
So if we press jump button and item button at the same time underwater, I just go really fast for some reason. And that becomes very relevant for a section later.
Yeah, jump and item. I see, like.
This guy is okay.
Showing your.
Come on, come on. This room is very frustrating. There's a lot that can go wrong in this room.
So another interesting thing about this game is that there's a hidden difficulty slider thing that goes up as you, I think as you progress.
Yep.
And so more and more enemies start spawning on screens. And I think hard mode just has them all set high from the start. So if you're playing on like the normal difficulty, there's another puzzle that took me ages. So this room is hidden and there's a requirement for the game, and it's also a requirement to do that room before you find the ability to find hidden rooms. And I believe they later patched that room so it's on the map so you can find it easier. And the other thing was the hint for what to do was in that room was on a one-time only conversation, which they also had to change so you could see it until I think you've solved it. So there were a lot of issues with some of the progress in this game that nearly all of them have been patched to make them flow better. Or like, so in this version, unlike the original, you're not really ever.
It's not supposed to be that.
You're not really ever in the position where you have like no clue on where you need to go. Like there's always something that is telling you what you need.
Those falling blocks will kill me instantly. It's a pretty easy static quick kill, but
I imagine
if you miss one of them, then it takes quite a long time to recover.
I imagine that the boss would be pretty quick in a speedrun. I don't think I've actually seen that in a run. That's another boss a lot of people have trouble with because they don't realise they can push the blocks. Or they come, you need the glove to do it, right?
Yeah.
Or they come there before. The glove's another one that is very easily missed. And I'll admit I also missed the gloves when I first went through them. So this is the area where you get the ability to hold more money.
Yeah, we're also going to grab a quick DPS item from up here.
Best DPS item.
Makes our weapons move faster. It's pretty useful.
So always my favourite item that's in both versions, or in both Mulana's.
I take several quick saves and stuff as I go here because
there's
a lot can go
also
wrong in this area, in this segment.
There's also a mechanic where there's little split gates.
Okay.
You can use them as a temporary warp point, but you can only have one set.
Yep.
So they're usually well placed in areas where it's just before like a mini boss or something dangerous, so you can like quickly hop out and save or heal if you need to.
I'm actually going to heal. I'm kind of low. There's a couple mini bosses here. They're pretty. The strats are pretty safe, but I'm gonna.
Valor.
Marathon
Or
strats.
whatever his name is.
I can't remember the names of any of the characters in this game.
He uses the attack patterns of one of the bosses in the first game. Oh yeah, there's this switch boss.
Two of the, you have to kill 3 little witches, and oh my god. You can kill 2 of them as they come up of the screen if you time it correctly, but I've not done that. I'm glad I healed because I would have died otherwise. Like this boss is completely static. I'm gonna kill her in the middle so I can grab all the money.
Nice. Didn't realise she died that quick. Oh, it's probably because of the gauntlet.
Yeah, gauntlet is really useful.
So now you get the key. And the room everyone thinks there's more puzzle in, I think.
Yeah, this is like a giant sword sticking out of the ceiling here, but it doesn't actually do anything. So like,
there's a thing that references it and everyone's like, oh, I have to do something with this sword, right? And then there's not actually anything there. There's another mantra scan, and apparently the software can just read it from the bottom few pixels, because as soon as it starts moving, it counts as fully revealed.
There's another temporary warp point here. I'm going to take it and quick save because this boss isn't hard, but if it goes wrong once again, I have to come all the way up here again.
And he can kill you very quickly.
Yeah.
With his big back laser. So now you get the space suit of skipping.
Yeah, like we got a literal doll suit made out of clay.
And it can...
And that lets us walk through purple lasers without dying and lava and stuff.
And I believe it lets you do the room in the gas room in the underwater, the trials room, without doing the...
You can't go in and talk to Anubis without actually solving that puzzle.
I guess it just like, he just turns you away. So there's a ghost that flies around.
Yeah, more dialogue triggers that
That's
to run
just
around.
Part of the requirements for a later boss.
There's a floor panel in this room that breaks. In one point is broken. Like it'll break open the first time, but
And
after
then
that,
never again. Yeah.
it will reappear and then never break again. So we're going to try and go past it as many times as we can.
And the ironic thing about it is that after the first time, where it gets you if you don't realize it, it's like you want to be able to break, so you can just go down quicker
Yeah.
after you can walk there.
So yeah, once again, we scanned this temporary warp point, which overrode the previous one. And there's one more after this that we're just going to use for the rest of the game because it's in a really, really convenient spot.
There's another boss that was really easy and they made much harder in later patches. But if you know what you're doing, it's still not that difficult.
Here's one of my favorite bugs. So you can go through diagonal walls with the Gale Fibula. So we can use that to jump through a floor here. Skipping a very, very, very long puzzle that you actually have to do multiple times in the run, because it involves like chanting a mantra over and over, like different ones in the right order.
Yeah, so it's you have to chant 5 different mantras in the right order, and every time you chant it, you have to wait for the effect to go off, and then you have to menu. So save a good like 30 seconds to a minute just by doing that. So I know the corridor of blood is notoriously buggy as well. But I think most of it can be done. It's just it has to be going between the right levels after you've killed certain bosses for the blood splatter to appear, and you need to do that so you can lock it in place later in the game. And there's also been reports of people falling out of the corridor of blood using the Gale Fibula.
Yep, that's happened to me. My very first run soft locked and I have to start again. After I killed all the Guardians. So where are we going? We're going back to this thing that I scanned here. I wanted to grab this pot and buy some weights because I didn't have any left. Actually needed exactly 0 for a puzzle there. So this one I cannot Gale Fibula to go to the right with. If I do, the game will soft lock. So I'm gonna inch forward. And this, getting there from getting to this zone from there saves you tons and tons and tons of time, because there's an entire zone that you have to go through that takes a long time to get to. and we just skip all of it.
You skip, and there's another quick puzzle skip.
Yeah, there's another costume clip there that gets us into this room.
And I know there's, you have to go through a couple of other zones to get here, I think.
Yeah, there's I can't remember the name of the place. It's got a really long Japanese name.
Takamaka Show.
Takamaka. Okay.
Which, for some reason, has an English translation. I really like that puzzle, by the way. It has an English translation, or it had an English translation in the glossary. It listed that area as the pit closest to heaven, which I think is but it was still the full Japanese name.
Hoping I could get this guy.
Snake guy.
You can get him with the katana.
That would be one instance where if you had the axe, it would be useful.
Probably don't generally have the axe by this point.
But
though.
it's the axe is much later in the game.
I've done this run a lot of times and I still can't remember everything, so I got notes next to me telling me where to go.
Another instance of the rat cat. Solving another puzzle. Did that work?
No, it didn't. It's very buggy. Sometimes this trigger does not go off and it is kind of frustrating. I've gotten in the habit of just doing a check to make sure all of them have gone off before doing the final segment for that puzzle, because it wastes 4 minutes if one of them bugged. One more dialogue trigger and then we're gonna kill a couple bosses.
We've unlocked the boss of the Eternal Battlefield, is it? It's unlocking the boss of the pyramid. Who is also laughably easy in this version, I believe. Once you know how to dodge the instant death.
Yeah, we actually do a bit of manipulation in that fight. We'll talk about it when I get there. Okay.
So normally you're meant to solve a puzzle to get access to the Dark Lord's pyramid, but most people actually find the entrance through the corridor of blood first. Because I know I did.
This guy to not be in my way, please. So we're going to be heavily abusing a mechanic for the rest of the run, involving a hot spring that gives us infinite ammo for our currently equipped weapon. And that includes the gun, which is, the strongest weapon in the game. And so as long as we don't shoot our last bullet, we'll always be able to just shoot an infinite number by resting in this spring. And the buff lasts for 3 minutes, so I am now on a timer. I have 3 minutes to kill the next couple of guardians. But that's alright, because I can do it faster than that. Oh, I didn't click through, it's alright. So when we fight this guy, we're going to do damage amounts that don't cross a threshold, so that we stay on his easiest pattern for 2 cycles instead of only 1. There are these hands inside here. We can actually hit them with a spear before they come out. Sometimes they don't land. So now I'm going to do 2 katana hits and a gun shot. This is on its hardest pattern now. It's going to send out 6 hands instead of 2. There was one on the far left that got hit at some point.
Right, so annihilated that boss.
Gun makes things pretty easy. And more importantly, fast. I'll pick up an arc jewel from a mini boss first, and then I'm gonna kill Yomaganda.
And you get the hammer.
Lightning hammer.
And that hammer is normally the requirement for Golden. I believe
Yeah, usually the lightning hammer that I get from killing the next boss is what you actually need to get double jump.
I believe there's also pots in that room. The original feather early was there's like these pots in the room and they're high enough for you to damage boost to the top of the, like to where the feather is. And then I think they removed the pots and then costume flip was out.
Yeah, that ladder actually takes a very long time to have a hitbox for some reason. So I like kind of jump in spot, on the spot to like time when I should go for it. We don't really need to heal now, but we're going to get that to increase our max health. It's just kind of on the way.
So here's one of the hardest bosses in the game, who for some reason I found out was in 1.0 was actually easier on hard because he spends more time on the right side of the screen where you can hit him easy. And obviously if you just like have a gun battle with him.
Yeah, if you're doing that fight melee only, it's a really interesting battle, but yeah.
Yeah, I was trying it melee only, so it's a lot of dodging and getting 2 hits every like minute. Because you can't actually turn around when you're on your little speeder bike thing.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily the katana has a hitbox on its second swing that's kind of up and behind you a little bit, like the whip. Unfortunately, the leather whip is really low damage at this point. So this is cycle with a platform we're going to try and get while also doing a bunch of other stuff too. So we're going to charge the lightning hammer, which can be done using the punishment divine retribution for hitting the things you're not supposed to hit.
And you break open the block.
Yeah, but we're not actually, we don't need that block for any reason. Oh no, no, I don't want to fall on those spikes. So yeah. This guy, if he had knocked me back after the platform had gone, that would be really upsetting. That's a really slow cycle.
Yeah, so there's that little pot in that room. Oh, you can do it before the oh, it's because he just leaves, right? That pot in that room is like bait for people that don't have double jump because you can't actually jump out unless you have the feather.
Yeah.
Like, oh, a pot, I bet there's money in there. Wait a second.
Well, there's 100 gold in there, it's pretty useful.
So there's another. Normally you're meant to chant mantra in front of that little statue with the red eye to
Yeah, but if you have double jump, you don't need to. You just ignore the fact that you're supposed to do it with a ladder. I'm just going to scale quickly here to open a little trapdoor, because you'll never fall through a trapdoor if you have the gale like this. And that one's a really risky one.
Yeah, that lets you get a good weapon once you have the force heals. So that's another thing that's been changed in patches. They intend for you now to come from the other side and not from this side to get to that area.
I'm now going to get those snowshoes to stop myself from sliding around on ice. I'm going to spend 1,000 gold on the lamp. Not the lamp. The harp.
Oh,
We already have the lamp.
You didn't even have to do the sending plane or that.
Nope. No, there's like an invisible score that influences what happens in the game. And once your score is 120, if that means anything to anyone, you can get the snowshoes without sending her anywhere.
I know that they had that in the original, and you get points for killing bosses and picking up items.
Yep.
So I assume it's a similar system.
Another pretty big sequence break there, though it doesn't look like it. You're not meant to be able to get down that floor for a while.
It's meant to be another mantra puzzle with mantras you don't have yet, I think.
Yep. And the combination is not told to you for a very, very long time.
Yeah, that's...
This run is not a good indicator of the actual progression you should make through this game.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff when there's a lot of puzzles that are like sometimes presented to you, and then you get but they give you the information later, and then you're like, oh, I know where this information needs to go, and then you go solve it. Assuming you, of course, wrote down where it was instead of just trying to remember it.
Yeah, note taking is pretty important in playing this game for the first time, because otherwise you'll just literally never finish it.
Yeah, my notes ended up with just all the different mantras you needed. So there's time stopped there.
Yeah, stop time so that I didn't have to fight this guy, because he's pretty erratic.
And he does a lot of damage.
Yeah, he does a ton of damage. Switching to the clay doll suit there, just go full faster, so I can...
So the clay doll is actually, like, it changes your attack into a punch and your item, your like secondary item to a laser. So and that doesn't use ammo, but like, so you can punch and laser things as well.
It's pretty useful. Useless though.
Yeah, it's like there's only one place where you actually need to kill stuff with it, and I assume you just skip most of those enemies.
So this area is very buggy. This area is completely broken in 1.0. There are these, there's this like dice thing that like rotates as you do stuff. You have to like chant a specific mantra in front of it. And if you transition screen while it's going, it does weird stuff. And then if you reset its position from like position 3 to position 0 or whatever, it breaks even more. In fact, some of the rooms just completely disappear.
I know
and that's pretty useful for us.
Do you do it? You do the skip for the
Yeah, there's another significant sequence break coming up.
the battery, or I can't even remember the cog.
Yeah, the cog.
Yeah, so that room has a very important item in it. And I know you can like...
Position myself and then move left after chanting. To time it right. Oh, did I do it wrong? I think I... Yeah, okay. Try that again. Yeah, sometimes it stops spinning as well, so I'm gonna leave and come back quickly. There we go, that's what we want. That panel in the ceiling that just disappeared. Just completely make that room disappear. And then we can clip into here, nice and fast.
Instead of going through another zone.
A quick save before going to the next bit, because it's not too dangerous, but pretty long segment. Stroll. Okay, so this is a point in the run where I would start paying attention to how much money I have, because damage goes through him. I want a very specific amount of gold before entering an area later. That number is 221 exactly. And I'm going to make a 50 gold purchase before I do that. So 270, 271 is what I want. So I now have 270. And I'm going to want to grab 1 gold from somewhere. I left some backup pots that I can hopefully get that from. I think this pot here I can use. So the little gold one is that. So that's exactly what we need. Any more gold drops from here is a bad thing. Oh, those points fill up the lamp. There's a few segments later where I'm going to kind of be doing that over and over. Okay. I don't want to pick up this one, and I did, so I'm going to... I'm going to reset and do that again. Hopefully that bat does not drop money this time.
So Angular Musica is now 50 gold instead of 1500 gold.
Yeah, something like that. I'm going to activate fairies now, because one of the things we're going to be buying with all that money is a key fairy who's going to unlock bombs for us. And then we're going to go to hell, both literally and figuratively. A zone where a lot of runs go to die.
It is probably one of the best designed hell levels because it is hell on all levels.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun in mechanics. I
got lasered.
Yeah, got lasered. That's fine. I have the health fairy.
So the way the corridor blood works is there's 6 areas, and there's like one at the top in the middle, one at the bottom in the middle, and then there's like 2 on each side, and it's each one is a specific area, and it's just the angle of the corridor is like which path it takes, so you can know which place you're going to if you can remember how they're laid out.
There's 2 more coin pots here, which will bring up to exactly 401 gold. Luckily, the enemies in this zone don't really drop money. They mostly drop soul, which is the stuff that lets you refill your health on the fly.
I did notice that there is
I'm being careful about this pot though, because that pot can drop 1 money, and if it does, I need to jump over it.
There is a pot on the climb that I noticed.
Oh, jeez!
Got stuck in the bottom of the lava.
I fell in some lava. That's not ideal, really, when you think about it. This is why we save.
So yeah, that's how fast that poison lava kills you.
Very fast. If I had better reflexes, I probably could have put the clay doll suit on, but unfortunately I'm, you know.
You expected to swim when you jumped out. This time you can get that.
Yeah, it's always a bonus.
Do we have time for a couple of donations?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So we have $50 from Toshinori Gyagi saying, whether you win or lose, you can always come out ahead by learning from the experience. And we have $2.28 from Neo saying, Kersplat!
There's another issue with this particular puzzle where the translation, I believe it skipped a line that made the puzzle go from...
Oh my god.
You're stuck in the wall falling.
I was swinging my weapon, so I couldn't switch the clay doll suit on.
Yeah, and then you have to be like...
Oh my god.
Here's the strap. Equip the clay doll suit on the way down.
You just have to like edge right 1 pixel as you're falling, and I just didn't do it twice in a row. Sorry. That's the problem with this game. Like, there's so many minor things that can go wrong that just cost you tons and tons of time. Because yeah, there's basically no opportunities to quick save or anything during all this.
Well, the reason why you can't quick save is if you quick save, the fairy despawns.
Yeah.
And because you're getting it from an event, it means you'd have to go out of your way if you needed another fairy, which I assume you're getting the fairy so you can damage boost through things.
Well, the most important part of having a fairy here is just so like... well, more like fairies just have to be active so that I can buy it in a moment.
Is that because you skipped the... did you skip the card? The guild card thing for buying fairies?
No, I picked that up a while ago. Yeah, I can probably do this bit without the health fairy, but we can't really... Alright, don't swing weapon unless I actually land. There we go. That's better. There's a broken trigger here where you can just jump over it. You're meant to use the gale to go through that.
And then another thing, they've broken a patch where I think it triggers once and then never again.
Yeah, that was the next one. I remember that.
They may have fixed that. So this area has a...
I actually need to wait a moment because I put that fairy for a long time.
This area has a puzzle where you go through certain doors and you lose, temporarily lose your equipment. And that's a...
Oh, okay, sorry everyone. I'm gonna put $5 in the swear jar for this rude key fairy.
Yeah, there's some they changed the original had a pretty clean translation.
Is that working? Assuming I got this working.
And this one and I was watching the dev live stream and they're like, yeah, we added some colorful language to the game because it's how we feel or something like that.
So this is the reason I need to have exactly 401, is because it costs $1 to cross this river here, the river Styx, and
You have to have exactly 1 gold.
if you have 0 it doesn't work, and if you have 2 it doesn't work. And then you can skip the cutscene where he talks to you later and don't even pay him the 1 gold. So I still have 1 gold in my inventory. It's pretty nice. So, all right, I'm gonna save here. I'm actually, there's a time trigger here, but I got here at exactly the right time, so I don't have to like, I won't explain that now because it comes up again later. This is one of the places we needed the lightning hammer for. It's the way to kill that enemy. And there's a second one that comes up later. And we are going to get another DPS item here, which isn't completely essential, but does speed things up. And because we have a key fairy to unlock it anyway, it's faster, although probably not if you get stuck behind this enemy.
So in the original, the Spolder was really bad, and now they gave you the ability to turn off items.
I'm really not.
Except they also made the Spolder good.
Yeah, Spolder's excellent now. It leaves a trail on my weapon.
It's what it did in the original, but due to the way the enemy iframes work, it meant it was less damage than your weapon and it could override the next hit. But they fixed all that, and I think does it do the same damage?
I think it's the same damage now, yeah.
And bosses practically don't have iframes, which is why the weapon fairy doing damage on each frame can utterly destroy them. Or the attack fairy.
So I just got the flail whip, which is by far the best normal weapon in the game, and now there's basically no reason to use anything else.
Yeah, it does. Is it 8?
I don't know the number.
I think it's 8 base damage, where Katana I think is 5.
Oh.
And the whips are 2, 4, 8.
I'm going to recharge the Mjolnir on this wall over here, which if you hit. Alright, we're back here now. Do a quick reset to respawn the fairies, because we need one in a moment.
Yes,
and we only just had one out.
Fairies work on a timer, it's 10 minutes or something like that, once you get one before it can spawn, but if you reset, it just resets the timer, which is also why you lose any fairy you have when you save and reset. So this game added consistent fairy manipulation.
Yep, I just touched that fairy point 6 times. And the seventh time I touch one, it'll give me a key fairy. And it's faster to come down and do it there rather than do it in the room coming up.
Because in the original, you would walk in and out of the room resetting the fairy until you got the right one, but now it goes it's health, 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 so weapon, health, item, health, key, something like that. It's every second one after the like thing is a different fairy, but it's like health for the first, second one, and then there's the rat boss again. Another time stop making it. Making it really easy.
The music box out here actually becomes really ominous because there's absolutely no music in the background for a while. Something to do with stopping time, with boss music going on.
So it's the end of the boss music.
Yeah. So we just grab the bombs, which blow open a couple of walls with required things inside. One of them is one of the mantras, and the other is for a puzzle later.
Which puzzle is that?
You'll see in a sec. So
Okay.
you have to break a boulder.
Oh,
So-
yeah, that one, right. You break boulders with relative ease.
So I mentioned earlier that the triggers for the chanting in the Ratatoska rooms is a bit broken, so I'm going to make sure all of those are
And then leave
yeah,
before he shows up.
unsealed or whatever. Yeah. If I stay on the edge of the screen, he will not spawn. And we get music again.
So you get
We get treasure from this guy and then immediately leave.
the treasure, which lets you go to the underworld.
We're already in the underworld, but that's fine. No, it's to talk to, it's to get.
Yeah, it's to
so-
get in the way that lets you finish it. Although I hear there's like an alternate path you can take that was in this version to solve the gates of hell or whatever.
Yeah, there's a shorter way that we'll be doing in the run. It's kind of difficult to explain though. There are 7 gates you have to pass through, and I just go through one of them twice. So we're gonna be very careful not to fall into lava here. And then we're gonna grab the gun string again and fight a bunch of bosses. There's like a boss gauntlet. It's just
Is
a
it boss?
real pain in the butt.
Mouse time.
We're gonna It's probably the longest, like, kind of challenging segment. Like, if I don't finish this in 3 minutes, I have to reset and do it again because of the way the gun spring works. And like, if I accidentally shoot my last bullet, I cannot get it back.
Yeah, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
There's this like area that's similar to one in the first where there's the 11 children and then you have to kill them all before the boss. And a lot of these bosses are quite difficult.
Not with the gun though.
But
The gun
when you
pretty
just
much
shoot them
realizes
to
this.
death, it's just
It's still kind of tough to get it in time. Here's an item that we're going to get because we're in this area anyway that like basically makes us. I think it halves the damage we take or something.
yeah, it's
But
the
like
double defense, just like the fairy clothes in the original.
it's useful because we can do a really high damaging glitch, like because it no longer damages us a lot due to having the damage resist. Yeah. What? What is going on here? Please. Cannot fall in this room. That would be bad.
Yeah, so that boss gimmick is it pushes you off, which resets the boss time.
Yeah, but most importantly, I don't have like the time. I would
Yeah.
have to come back and do it in another pass, which is actually what I did in my PB. So, you know, world record is free if anyone wants it.
He is not bad.
This guy is, I don't know what they were thinking, honestly. Even, like, just by freezing time and not using the gun, like, you can't really kill him in that cycle. It just takes a really, really long time.
Yeah, I noticed he took like 13 shots or
13
something.
shots.
And that is a lot of damage from the gun.
Okay, so after this guy, we're safe. Alright, we're good. I'm gonna unequip the gun so I don't accidentally shoot my last bullet, which I've done in the past. And then we're gonna leave. Oh yeah, while this boss gauntlet is going on, it actually locks out my grail, so I can't teleport. So I have to leave through the corridor of blood.
Which I think they might have also changed. Does it lock in later versions?
Yes, but they force you to open it.
I mean the like when you activate the boss gauntlet.
I don't remember. Anyway, so
It's not important.
there's a 1 frame window here where that can soft lock the game. Hopefully we don't see that. So there's a guy who's died, and you under ordinary circumstances I'll have to go to the funeral, but since this is a speed run, you know,
There's no time
we're
for
about
that.
maximum disrespect, and yeah, we're just gonna like
So you just
ignore that.
get
Luckily,
your fibula out of
we
there.
get an item out of it, so yeah. Now we're killing the boss. But this guy's, this boss is very easy, so I'm not even gonna bother with the gun. Just gonna use the flare whip.
No, this boss is really difficult. Except that you can manipulate it.
So you can just manipulate him into doing a certain pattern, and then you just wail on him with the flare whip until he dies. And the thing you have to do is just stand right in the center of his face, and he goes down and two cycles. Oh, unless I do that.
Yes. That's the
wasn't
thing I
great.
don't like about the Vijira
So
in that fight.
if you accidentally whip the platform you're standing on, it breaks and then you die. But if I was standing in the right spot, he would die really fast. Thankfully, in the more recent versions of the game, they patched him so the floor is not insta-kill. Yep.
So, hard boss. Everyone struggled with that
Yeah.
casually.
Yeah, that guy took me a long time the
And
first time I
it's
did it.
mostly because of the instant kill flaw in the early versions of the game.
You're also not supposed to have the flail whip when you fight him. What are we doing now? I'm gonna refill the lamp over here. I'm gonna turn off the item I just picked up called the Flame Torque because it detonates explosive gas, and I am going to a room with explosive gas in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of explosive gas in while you're doing this game. Yeah, there's rooms of that, and you whip, and then everything explodes, and it really hurts.
I actually do that intentionally later on. So you're supposed to get an item and deactivate the explosive gas, but instead we're going to freeze time. Because this boss goes along the ground, setting up sparks and stuff,
The
which blows
boss's
up the
attack
room
pattern
over and
is to
over.
just blow everything up. That was another boss that gets changed in the patch to not be able to be time stopped.
So there's these items I've been getting along the way called Arc Jewels, which activate boss fights. And for some mysterious reason, literally 2 of them are bought in a shop. So we kind of waited so we could buy both of them at once, because they're kind of, you can buy one and then later in the game you can get another one, but
Yeah, they're like, hey,
both at the same time.
we're selling an actual now, and you're like, wait, I just bought one. Is this intended? And apparently it is.
Okay, I'm gonna refill the lamp again because there's actually a boss, the one boss in the game that actually is intended to be killed using the lamp at time because they can't be damaged any other way. Which is in this area.
You get to do everyone's favourite climb to the top of the mountain.
Actually, well, we skipped that because when we did the pot clip, we came from above and unlocked the shortcut ladder. I actually want to be here because this is a better way to do it. Now that I have the damage reduction, I don't have to worry about that, which can do more than 100 damage. For some reason, it does a very tiny amount once you have the damage reduction. So like, there's a bug in this game where multi-segmented enemies like these, if you don't, your iframes don't kick in until 1 frame after you get hit. So if you hit multiple segments at a time, you take just a ton of damage. And there's one of those sitting in a wall compressed, and you hit every segment at once, and it does a ton. But yeah, not a problem for us anymore. Switch to this. Let it fall off. Okay. Good. Usually you can do that before time unfreezes, but that was just bad. And now we're going to finish off this boss gauntlet. I'm going to kill the Guardian at the end. Most of these are pretty straightforward. They just have weird hitboxes. So like, and like the gun goes off after a bit of a delay, so timing it can be a bit weird sometimes. She has very, very strange hitboxes. So little soul drops leave us on full health there, which is nice. This boss isn't particularly dangerous, but we do take damage from her just because like, it's the boss target. This is a really, really interesting fight, I think, when you're playing without sub-weapons, so like whip only and stuff. But the gun kind of makes it trivial, like a lot of them, so.
I think she grows older the longer you leave her, not like before you get there in your playthrough or something.
Yeah, like the game slowly ramps up the difficulty over time. And it affects the bosses as well. So like, I think this is like a mid-difficulty version, but it'll be really good to see any of her patterns. I pressed a button, I don't know where I'm going. Here, right? We grab a health fairy, turn on the flame torch, because this boss is affected by the flames.
So this
You
boss
can 2-cycle this.
is notoriously difficult because
Damage boosting in the right way lets you avoid the big meteors that he shoots.
he does a lot of damage if he jumps in.
Yeah,
But,
if you're inside his mouth when it's closing, it does a ton.
but I know that
I didn't get the
they made
2-cycle.
this boss harder. I think it takes longer for Mouse to open, but they made it so you can stand on the bottom jaw without taking damage, which I think improves the fight.
Okay. Now we want to refill our lamp and then reset so we can get a new fairy spawn, because there is a segment we need full health for because we're going to tank a big lava, like a poison lava dip. Sure, that was everything I need to do. So now we're going to do the 7 Gates of Hell puzzle, which we're going to do some minor sequence breaking by just changing the order of gates we go through, and we're going to use 2 of them twice due to a bug. We're also going to go visit an old friend. And we're going to get drunk. I know this is a alcohol-free event, but it's his final wishes, so, you know, who am I to argue? I'm not doing this right. And I'm kind of glad you can't skip this, because honestly, this cutscene is incredible. It's so cute. This is water, I promise.
Stay hydrated.
Take a bit of a nap. All right, back to the 7 Gates of Hell puzzle. Yeah, so basically each of these gates that we go through takes away the use of one of our items. And in a regular run, working out which gate to go through is a really, really fun puzzle. But in this, it's kind of, yeah, it's a bit broken. Here's our friend Ratatoskr again. He grew wings. And once again, we're not going to fight him. We're just going to stop time. So yeah, As you can see when we went through that gate, I lost the use of the clay doll suit. The first item I lose, by the way, is the teleport. So the reason we can't quick save halfway through all of this is because I just can't teleport away at all. Got the bad pen on this enemy, but that's alright. Just tagging it a couple times. So I mentioned that explosive gas. So there's some in this room.
Just blow everything up.
Yep, and there's some in the next room too. And then I'm going to unequip it because otherwise I'll be very, very sad. Is this lava dead? Okay, we're good. We're good. That's the scariest part of that, because if you, I don't know, mash wrong or something, you just kind of die. And this is like a 5-minute segment or something, I don't know. And then we're gonna like go talk to the next boss. But instead of fighting her, we're just gonna ask to leave, and then she kicks you out.
Like it's your items back.
Yeah, and we get a lot of items back, so we can teleport around and everything we need to now. So now we're gonna do one of the like more weird and interesting bugs. It's like storing menus, menu states, weirdly. So if we die, and then we press confirm and like to the teleport menu, bring it up, and then die again, and then enter the Grail warp screen and then warp away, we end up somewhere strange. It's the kind of 0, coordinates screen of that current area, maybe, we're not sure. But basically it lets us get to somewhere we're not supposed to. And it's useful in a couple of areas actually, which is pretty nice. So I'm gonna look at the clock here. Okay, I've got plenty of time, so I'm gonna just hang out for a bit. So I didn't explain this earlier because I got really lucky timing, but there are these doors that are on a timer. And you can get like an item which makes the eyes light up, that changes things, but we can just look at the timer at the top right here, and like once that says 0, it's safe to go through it and it'll take me to the right location. But like for every 15-second interval in a minute, like it'll take me to a different location. So this area we just completely skipped over, and we only come here briefly for the crystal skull. It's a big pain to get here. And I should have 12 crystal skulls now, which I do. All right, good. So how much health do I have? I'm gonna go to a heal, because this next segment is upsetting. And then I'm gonna go to space. Yep.
Chad Bingham gave $1.29 and said yeet.
Yeet?
Yeet. Got really lucky with the enemy RG here. Like sometimes you have to go around, but they weren't gonna get in my way, so it's good. Kill this guy there. So this is a precise and annoying trick. Hopefully I get it pretty fast. That involves like skipping a lot of stuff, a lot of annoying puzzles. Unfortunately, I'm not getting it, so it's alright. Should only take me a couple more attempts. There we go. I'm going to put the clay doll suit on because not only does it protect us from lava, it lets us protect us from zero atmosphere environments.
I like the triple gotcha here.
So there's the last mantra here. So we have all 10. So there is the bug. So in space, you basically have water physics. And the bug where you go fast when you're holding an item out and press jump at the same time works here. So we're going to use that a lot. We're also going to use costume swapping. Like if we're stuck in a corner or something, like we can use that to get unstuck because it gives us control back. We can also go out of bounds. I didn't know about that, but sure. I went through that wall. I haven't gone through that particular wall before, but that's cool.
So yeah, I've found out casually you can soft lock here pretty easily.
Yeah, so these enemies will just like stick you in one place and you can't move. So you have to costume swap out or you'll die. Just sit in one spot and die basically. This area is, I don't know. It's a cool idea, but like the execution wasn't fantastic.
It's just sticking the skulls where they belong.
Yeah.
And that lets you solve the corridor of blood.
Something else I'll mention is like while costume swapping in this place, it's very important that you take the clay doll suit off and then put it back on again or you'll instantly suffocate and die. Which I imagine like not a very pleasant experience for the Misa.
It happens a lot in casual play to people I've seen. Because they're like,
Or just going up and not realizing that you're currently in space.
because there's a software that most like casual players would get that gives you warnings about the environment. So they go up there and then they go, oh, I can go swim up, and then it's like warning no atmosphere, and then they're like, oh, I instantly died. And there's like a couple of instant death traps on the way into unlocking the space door as well that often get people.
So we're gonna go kill our last, we're gonna go to the gun spring again, get infinite bullets and kill our last 2 guardians. And then it's basically some minus final boss setup and that's it. Conveniently, stuff like the gun spring is actually a healing spring as well, so we do get full health. The upcoming boss I dislike. I'm just really, really bad at it. It takes 4 pistol bullets to kill, but when it becomes vulnerable, it's random, and also like its hitbox is kind of strange. Oh boy. Well, you can kind of do a thing now where you just scale past all those platforms and jump on them as you go, but I missed my jump.
This boss is cool in a casual playthrough, but there's a lot of waiting for an opportunity to attack. Is this? No,
also, like the environment kind of moves if you go too far left or right. And it makes it harder to hit him if he's on a weird angle. I'm going to jump into most of these because they don't do much damage. And
it prevents him from doing a lot of damage.
Yep. And also they can just kind of knock you at bad times. So I want to make sure as many of them as possible are gone. Okay, there we go. So if you don't do it in the first 3 cycles, he does a really, really slow attack. So I'm really glad
That's the
I got it
spinny
down.
lasers.
Yeah, he kind of just like sits at the top and shoots lasers for a very long time. I was actually mucking around with strats, killing that boss with the weapon fairy, but it's really hard to get her to get that high up on the screen and actually attack her. So now we're gonna kill Hell.
Who is another boss that was
Yeah, she's really
very
fun.
easy by the time I was able to fight her. compared to a couple of the older bosses.
She's flying in the wrong direction.
Wait, she's not dead.
Her final phase actually takes 2 bullets to kill her, but if you hit her a little bit with the whip and not just shoot her with the gun, it only takes 1 for some reason.
Oh, is it saving the
Weird
damage?
threshold business.
And she explodes. I'm a little disappointed there's no angry cow noises in the run. We're not getting
Yeah.
all the dissonance.
Sorry. Dissonance skip. So now we have to do this, which is just kind of a really boring cutscene. Just use the item on the door until it lights up and then walk through. There's actually a proper explanation for everything that's happening, but
You have to align the corridor.
yeah. It's a really cool puzzle, and I don't know, I prefer just like let people figure it out on their own if they end up playing this game, which I recommend.
Which you should, I recommend playing.
Okay. This is a really awful room.
No.
I almost got incredibly lucky with an enemy RNG, but oh, we are here having fun. Just getting hit by everything.
So now there's only one thing to do.
Yep. And then it plays like an actual cutscene, showing you what you just did.
Yes. Cutscene that sometimes breaks. Now you can't use the corridor of blood anymore.
Well, you can still use it, you just can't rotate the thing anymore.
Doesn't it get like completely sealed? Or is that later?
I don't think it's completely sealed. Right, I'm gonna go this way. So there's 2 things I could have done here, and it depends on the timing on the clock. Like the there's a place we need to go now, and this door will take us to it if it's the right time.
Now
Otherwise, it's best to just walk straight there and walk.
door based? So is it all doors send you to a place, or is it specific doors
Specific ones.
send you to a
There's-
specific place at a specific time?
In Hell, there's like 2 different types of doors, and one of them takes you to one spot 1/4 at a time, and a different spot the other 3/4. And this one just has 4 different, depending on the time on the clock. I should actually do some menuing during that. I wanted to not fall down, but not too much. Okay. And we need one more item, and then we go to the final zone and kill the boss.
So now can you start getting wacky in the rounds?
Yep. Oh, he didn't die from that. Okay. There we go. Must have missed a couple hits. Just saving dab.
How kind of you.
Heal up a little bit because the next bit
No, it's time
pretty
to
hard.
die.
Yeah. Started to die again a couple times because we're going to use that menuing bug to get to jump straight to the middle of this zone.
Nice.
Isn't right? These 2. I think I missed anyway. I can chant that as the cutscene starts and open the door early, but I didn't get it.
So now this is the last area of the game. May be familiar to people that played the original.
I'm gonna stop time here so I can safely grapple boost over all these enemies. You can do it without, but he does a ton of damage, and it just like makes it really dangerous not to. boost here so I can get past. And to go, wait for that chicken to jump, or he'll hit you on your way over. That RNG in this room, this guy can go down instead. And you don't have to kill him first. Damage boost through here because it's just easier. It's just easier than trying to jump for it.
Go down, safe point.
Okay, go here, refill the lamp of time once more, and then get Gunspring and Fairy. So there are strats for the final boss that use an attack fairy instead of a health fairy, but they rely on RNG to not die.
Yeah, because
But they are very, very fast.
I believe you have the medicine, so you can
Yeah, we're gonna
not die.
use a bug. So instead of dying, we go down to 32 hit points, which is basically skips the having to collect all the dissonance.
So the idea is that when you have all the dissonance, you can safely chant
Every mantra at the
the
same time.
mantra instead of killing you.
All right, here we go. Ah, if you shoot this boss when he's moving towards the right, you soft lock the game. So I was very carefully not doing that. This is the segment where some stuff can just come out of the ground and kill you instantly if you're only on 32 health. Okay, so that was pretty lucky. I might get the one cycle on this next phase, which requires you to jump up and chant the thing for the phase sooner. Except I missed. Nope, I got him. Right. Game's lagging a bit already. So the final boss in this game does not look anywhere near as impressive as the fight in Mulana 1, unfortunately.
Yeah, they had to make the boss much harder in a later patch
Yeah.
because everyone was like, it's too easy. And then you get the sad mooing at the end.
So now we have to leave, basically, and then that's it.
Yeah, you get the escape, and for some reason they decided not to put a timer on it.
Yes, no time pressure at all.
But there's still some stuff to do if you're trying to get through 100%.
If you gale to the right here, you soft lock the game because you lose your holy grail, so you can't teleport out. You're stuck in the previous room, and like it plays the boss, like the ominous pre-boss jingle and also the escape jingle at the same time, and it sounds hilarious. Just lamping there to avoid dangerous enemy patterns. That's how we can do this.
Get your lamp right back.
Yep. up on time when I leave this room. And time. How'd I do?
205.31.
Oh, overestimate. Whoops.
Only a little bit.
Just. I practiced, I suppose. Okay.
That was La Mulana too.
Yeah, cool.